Hello one and all. Welcome to Guru Grit on this new moon special for the moon in Leo. So before we begin, my name is Monica. Thank you for being here. If you'd like to know more, check out the description box. But more importantly, today, as my little niece would say, it's been a day. It has been a day. Any background noise, disruptions, just roll with it, okay? My 2022 mantra in an attempt to chill out is just better done than perfect, so I just don't care. Okay, we'll just keep going. My camera died on me the last time I was filming, and it is what it is. I mean, who cares, okay? So let's get into it. What can I tell you? So today I'm filming on the 28th of July. It's the actual new moon, tropical Leo, sidereal Cancer, and I've had questions about sidereal. If you want a sidereal reading, just leave it in the description box when you make your booking. That's totally fine. I can definitely do that. And apart from that, I'm also going to mention when I go through the ascendants, what I'm also including is the conjunction, very volatile, exciting. I don't know how else to word it without sounding a bit paranoid, but intense, okay, between Mars, the North Node, and if you're using outer planets, Uranus will be there as well. So for outer planets, I would say like on a global scale, that's pretty significant personally. I don't know, I make some exceptions here and there, but not really. Anyway, let's get into it. I think I'll start with the actual sign. So let's start with Leo itself. What's so significant about it? You know, it's a sign of creativity. Every sign is creative in their own way, I suppose, but the glyph of the sign of the lion, a common mistake I hear people say, it's the mane, it's the lion's mane. It's actually not the lion's mane. It's a sign of creativity for a reason. It's actually a symbol of the sperm, okay, the male sperm. So it has a lot to do with, it's also a sign that rules children. You know, the people who have a lot of Leo energy quite like children. So the way I see it is like Cancer's like the, leading up to the conception, the sensuality, the tenderness, and then Leo is the act, and then Virgo has all the fun with the labor pains. But like the 6th house and the 6th sign, nothing really fun ever happens there, but it's necessary. I heard a Western astrologer say if Virgo ceased to exist, the earth would just, civilization would just collapse because they get everything done. So in the spirit of getting everything done, doesn't matter how it is, as long as it's done, let's get into it. So let's begin with Leo first, okay? So new moon in the first house is very, very lovely. So if you're a Leo rising, Leo ascendant, you can go by sun if you wish. I prefer ascendant, it's very personal. If you don't know your ascendant, you can still plug in your birth information into a birth chart calculator. If you have software, of course, you can find lots of free options online. Use your moon, please. Okay, better than sun, use your moon. Anyways, moving on, that's my opinion. First house is the body. It's the self-image, okay? So new moon will bring new things in. So it's a nice time to revamp one's image, you know, buy something for your appearance, feel good about the self. The moon illuminates it. Now the moon is dark here. So what it's going to do is, in any case, the moon aspects 7 from itself. But when it's new, it brings something in. So some way to uplift yourself, you know, get your reputation rolling, all those things would be nice. Do something nice for yourself. And of course, it aspects the 7th house of partnerships, relationships, something maybe to do with contracts, the renewing of something, renewing a lease, something like this could be a decent time. Now, in terms of the mass conjunction, this is also going to be in your 10th house in the sign of Taurus. So, that's really, really cool because we're thinking about self-image. The 10th is our status. So naturally, it's the house that we associate with career. But let's take it to another level and say you could have a change of status. You can go from single to in a relationship, a mother, a lady to a mother, you know, engaged to married, employed to unemployed, unemployed to employed, whatever the case is. So, but definitely a lot of focus on work. Okay, at this time, I've also noticed people who lose jobs while the North Node is transiting the 10th, they kind of end up better on the other end of it. So it might take another year or so. Worst case scenario, and that's how long it takes. But I just want to spend some extra time on Leo because it is on your side and just say, a year from now, it will be so much better than you could ever imagine. So if something does happen, you're okay, roll with it. But if someone at work is trying to give you a hard time, especially authority figures, you know, if you have a hot-tempered father or a contentious relationship with your dad, just try to be calm, okay, towards the end of July, going into August, because this can cause flare-ups with authority figures, especially if you consider like governments and things. So we don't want to agitate, you know, if you get into an argument with someone issuing you a parking ticket, just pay the $60 and don't put that on yourself. Okay, next is going to be Virgo. So for Virgo, this one's interesting. So the new moon's in the 12th house. Now if you're a student, if you're studying for a certification, professional development, you have exams to take, this is fabulous. New moon in the 12th house is awesome. I smashed an exam with this one time against all odds, but I really believed it. You know, the 12th house actually rules studying because it's seclusion. You study by yourself, all right? It's foreign lands, so you might take a long distance trip. Now the interesting thing, the moon for Virgos rules the 11th, which is friends. And then the moon is dark, right? And it goes into the 12th house of loss. So a really good interpretation is narrowing down your network circle, okay? Get rid of people who don't serve you. If some friends fall out of your life at this time, it's perfectly natural. Like they say, a mark of maturity is knowing who not to be friends with anymore. It's totally okay, don't panic. But it's really lovely and sweet because the 12th is quite, 12th house can be it's very imaginative, so it's very sensual, it can be very, very romantic. And it's a house where some big wishes really end up coming true. Okay, it's very nice. Now it's interesting to have the moon here and this conjunction in the 9th house because that's the house of visa documents, customs, borders, okay, legalities. So one thing I will say, if someone's started a fight with you, they'll probably lose, I hope. Every chart is different, but this is what I wish for you. And, you know, it's just a very good travel season for Virgo. So if you have some travel plans for August, if you're friends with me, then you'll know I've given you the green flag or not. This is how I plan my life and what flights I take. It seems to work very well. So it's a very nice time. Okay, one thing I will say for Virgo rising, the 9th is the house of luck, okay? And it has malefics going through it, including the 8th lord, Mars. So you could have a twist of fate, something really fortunate happen to you, fine, but don't bank on that. Don't think that just because you were lucky once, you're now forever on a roll and it's always going to be that way. It's not necessarily sustainable. So please be your Virgo selves, be smart about it, okay? Don't rely too much on that. And what leaves your life is supposed to, so don't worry about it, okay? Next, Libra. So this is, the new moon is it is very being in the 11th house of gains and friends. You might make some new friends, you know, and it's nice because it's the 10th ruler in the 11th. You might get a promotion. You might be referred for a position. A referral for a job might come through. You might find some money on the ground, but really this is really nice for a career advancement. So it's very nice for spending time with your friends, things of that nature. Okay, the very, very choppy conjunction is happening in the 8th house. So I'm not fear-mongering, but please be aware that 8th house does rule accidents and it does rule sudden events. Now, I really wish for wonderful things to happen suddenly. It's your 7th ruler in the 8th, so I hope you meet someone spontaneously that's foreign and you have a wild ride, you know, but 7th ruler conjuncting the North Node. Please beware, you know, if you meet someone, wait for some of the heady feeling to die down. They might not be who they say they are. They might be a person of different, it might be identity fraud, sure, but they might just be of like a different character, okay? So just be very, very careful, cautious, take your time. Of course, Mars rules metals, so be cautious if you're cutting your own hair. Don't run with scissors, okay? Don't play with fireworks. Yeah, just be sensible about it. And cars in general, okay? Just be very mindful. And of course, look after your parents because Mars is also ruling your 2nd house, so your parents. So call them, see how they're doing, and if they're up to doing something risky, tell them Monica said not to until August dies down. Okay, cool. So going into Scorpio. So the, actually I want to do the conjunction first, but never mind. So the 10th house, yeah, the 10th house is the new moon, which is really, really nice. And again, because the moon rules the 9th, which is travel and luck, you know, and it's nice. 9 and 10 has to do with like governments and institutions, organizations. This is the ascendant. Scorpio ascendant is the ascendant, I think, has the highest probability of actually going abroad for work, doing something international for work. I don't know if you get sponsored like a visa or the international arm of a company, the branch of a company or a bank calls you to consult or you have some dealings with those things. But generally, you know, 9th ruler in the 10th is very, very nice. So it's very, very good. So I quite like that for you. And also interestingly, you know, you have that massive conjunction in the 7th of partnerships. So yes, something spontaneous could happen, like meeting someone, but something contentious could also happen because Mars is the 6th ruler, so much like Libra previously, you know, it's kind of like hopping from a difficult house into a relationship house and vice versa. So tempers might flare, okay? If you're married, Be calm with your spouse as best as you can. If something's really bothering you, make your plan, figure out how you're going to go about it. But if somebody, also the 7th, 6th, and 7th have to do with competition and enemies. If somebody accuses you, attacks you of something, let them make a fool of themselves. That's my best advice for you. Really positive manifestations, again, can be travel. The 7th is the house of travel. And it's funny, 6th Lord and the 7th, again, you could travel for work. So if you get an offer of some kind, if you do deliveries for work, you might be especially busy around this time as well. So another thing that could be really fun is embarking on a fitness regime with your spouse. Okay, so you might decide to become health nuts or change your lifestyle, something like that, or in partnership with another person, make a plan to get rid of things you don't need. Maybe it's an attitude adjustment, a narrative that you have, or even like financial issues, like pay down some debts. Okay, moving on to Sagittarius, we have the new moon in the 9th house of luck, which is kind of nice and very mysterious because it's the 8th ruler in the 9th, so it really depends on the chart. But this could be really lovely, could give way to some wanderlust, of course, Sagittarius rising. You could be wanderlusting 24/7, but wanting to go somewhere, do something. You might feel especially fortunate. Spend time with mom and dad would be really nice. I think everyone should call their parents this month. There's something about August that's giving me the heebie-jeebies about parents. So I'm even getting a runny nose just thinking about it. I'm about to get a rage nosebleed if my thing doesn't come true. But anyways, let's go into the conjunction will happen in the 6th house between Mars and the North Node. So if you have children, make sure they don't do anything reckless. Okay, if they normally ride their bikes, make sure they're wearing their safety pads and helmets because the 6th can cause accidents. Okay, so I do kind of think just be mindful. If you do something dangerous for a living, then you're well equipped, you're trained, you know what's up, you're used to it, okay? But if you're new, let's say you're new to the role of a nurse, okay? You want to be extra careful that if someone's out of hand, you call for help. Don't do anything risky. Don't be wild. Don't go skydiving. Don't go rock climbing. Just wait a couple weeks till things die down. The one thing that can happen is Mars and the North Node perform exceedingly well in the 6th house. So, okay, if you have debts you want to get rid of, this is the time to put a budget into action. If you have, people who are not treating you so nice, now you can kind of, life will just kind of take care of them and just get rid of them for you. Okay, so it's very nice for Sagittarius Ascendant, very, very lovely. Of course, it's trining your sign, that new moon, so it's super, just lovely. Okay, Capricorn Rising. So we have what have I put here? See, I can't even see properly. Actually, go back to Sagittarius Ascendant 1 second. I just want to say if you have pets, take extra care of your pets as well, okay? Don't leave glass or open cans on the floor. Sometimes they get into tuna cans, they cut up their tongues. It's deeply unchill. Okay, yeah. So 8th house, the moon. Yeah, moon is in the new moon in the 8th house. That's actually quite funny. So it's really good for intimacy. Pardon the truck going by. Yeah, I was like a delivery man anyway. Unusually loud. So intimacy, other people's money. So if you have clients, if you're a creative person, if you're an artist, graphic designer, hairstylist, whatever, you do custom work for people like a detailer or a barber, you repair computers, whatever you do, you have clientele. This is a wonderful time to attract more people because the 8th is other people's money. So it's your clients, okay? So it's very, very nice, and it's ruling the 7th. Cancer rules the 7th for Capricorn risings, and though the 10th is career, the 7th is the house of trade. Okay, so if you've gotten a reading from me before, you will know I explain this depending on your level of knowledge, however much you need to know, but it really helps. It's going to help you. This moon is going to help you if you're self-employed or you have clients, draw people into you. So please set those intentions. It's going to work out very well for you. And then the mass conjunction is going to go down in your 5th house. So again, really nice for children. If you're looking to get pregnant, it's quite an aggressive combination. But Mars has to do with surgery and metals, and the North Node is like foreign or unorthodox objects or processes. So effectively, if you're struggling, something like fertility treatments, shots, hormonal treatments, things like that could actually work in your favor at this time. You might just be feeling extra randy, so that could really help. If your kids are grown, you already have kids, you know, having a lot of fun with them would be quite nice. And again, not getting into arguments with them, though some of them might surprise you with some news and you're like, huh? So that might take you by surprise, but you know, all's well. It's a good house, it's a good time to self-express. If there's something you've been meaning to do but haven't in your Capricorn rising, very nice time for self-expression, especially over the internet, okay? Or if you're like really specific, if you're like a welder or a piercer, somebody who works with metals, somebody who works with food, or works from home, also really cool for Cap risings. Going into Aquarius, I'm trying to speed through this because my thing dies on me all the time. Aquarius rising, so we have new moon in the 7th, wonderful for romance, marriage, contracts, all dealings with other people, business partnerships, and yes, travel, because the 7th is actually a house of travel, so it's really, really cool. Doing something you haven't really tried before, because the 1st is you and the 7th is the farthest house away from you, so something that's quite like foreign to you. You know, you could think, okay, I don't like seafood, but I go to a seafood restaurant, give it my best shot, you know, something like that. And then the 4th house has this conjunction. So again, once again, you know, the 4th is the mom. So please call your mom. If you're looking to do some electrical work in your house or something like that, be mindful, you know, the actual physical home or wherever you live. It could be your car, it could be like a bus. If you're camping during this time, just be mindful of like safety and anything, etc. But you know, one thing that you could do is install something, okay? So if you're looking to get a new air conditioner, a lamp, you know, whatever, or spending time in the kitchen, because Mars is a chef, the 4th house is the home, you know, works quite well. So a good time to just like take it easy, do some improvements on the home, excuse me, but ring your mom. You know, like the older we get, maybe you don't want to admit it, but we need our elders. We need elders of excellence that we trust, that we admire. So the older we get, it means a lot to our parents when we ring them. It's like, it's not that I need you, I want to talk to you, okay? So it's just a nice time when you have an affliction going through the 4th house. It's lovely to let your mom know that you're cool with her. Also, if you're looking to move, you might be spurred on to move. Why? Because Mars rules the 3rd house of motion, and then it goes into the 4th house of the home. So if you're looking to move, especially abroad or somewhere like a different city, across from your own city, the North Node will take you places, okay? So it's quite interesting. And you know, the North Node co-rules Aquarius, your ascendant, so you could physically uproot and go somewhere. So this is a very cool ascendant to have during this time. It's quite exciting, it's quite adventurous. Honestly, they're all kind of cool, and I think it's a very interesting time for everybody, but there's a few that I think are a little bit more interesting than others. Now we've got, we have Pisces. So the new moon is in the 6th house of health, well-being, service to others, nice time with pets, nice time to think of new ideas to pay down your debts. And honestly, this is going to be funny to say to a Pisces rising person, but rest, sleep, relax, take it easy, you know, especially if you're having some kind of health issues, if you're run down and tired, if your kids have made you tired, if dating has made you tired, if hustling for a hobby or having a side hustle has made you tired, this is a good time to very much relax. And in a way it's nice because it will just let things kind of come to you, okay? And this ascendant is one of the cool ones too, I think, because the you know, the conjunction is happening in the 3rd house. And that's interesting because that has to do with the hands, courage, bravery, and you're putting something in there that does very well in there, okay? So Mars does well in the 3rd, it's very courageous, it's very brave. So if you're looking to branch out on your own by means of expression, you might hand in your notice, you might quit on the spot, you might blog, you might tweet, okay? You might move, you might help people somehow express yourself through your hands. If you work with your hands, this is the time you'll be very, very busy, okay? Filling out documents, anything 3rd house is possible, okay? If you've got siblings, you want to spend some time with them, I encourage that, but definitely don't fight with them. You might squabble with your younger sibling or siblings who annoy you, cousins, neighbors, and friends that you consider family. So those are my warnings. Don't do that. Why? We need more love. Let's just everybody chill. Okay, getting into Aries. Okay, so this one's a bit interesting. So we have the conjunction in the 2nd house of money and parents. So, you know, be mindful of that. Call your parents. You might feel like spending some time at home, but don't do anything reckless. Don't impulse buy anything, maybe impulse, you know, not even impulse sell, unless it's old shoes you haven't worn in a long time. But Aries, you know, parents definitely see how they're doing. And the second house rules your actual wallet. It's the money that you earn, money that you make. So don't do anything crazy. All right, that's my advice to you. On the other hand, something spontaneously can come to you, like an idea of how you can make more money. Something can happen where you question your beliefs as well, because it's your values, and the North Node is other things. So you're like, hey, I was raised this way, but suddenly this conjunction happened, and now I'm like, I don't know if I believe that anymore. I believe this instead, you know. So it might cause you to open your value system up somehow. But you don't want to argue with people, because the second is the voice, and it could make you very harsh. So for social things, there's no point in squabbling. But if you're at work and someone's coming up against you, being very, very, very disrespectful, you might be like disgusting, you know, and just let them know, like, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I don't come here to be bullied. I come here to work. I don't get 2 paychecks, I get 1. This is my work and I go home, all right? And you've got some wonderful transits supporting this, because the moon going through the 5th is very, very lovely, okay? So it's sweet, it's romantic. It's just nice, isn't it? It's just nice. I might be a little bit discombobulated, to be honest. I'm just talking very fast, but Aries risings have a good time going for them. So this is really lovely to date. Spend time with your children. If you'd like to conceive a child, fall in love, engage in a new hobby, okay? Invite a new hobby, if it's whatever it is, I don't know, whatever, I have no idea. Knitting, okay? Knitting or soccer, ultimate frisbee, cricket. You go out, you meet new people. It's just nice. The moon is a social planet, so it's just quite lovely. It could bring you a lot of happiness because it's your 4th ruler in the 5th. It's really, really just pleasant, generally pleasant. Now, Taurus rising, okay, you've got this choppy conjunction in your 1st house. So this is what I will say. The 1st house is the body, so let's get this out of the way. We're not fear-mongering, we're just being sensible, like I said, for another sign. Libra, I said, I think Scorpio as well. No, not Scorpio, but Libra I did, and somebody else. Okay, the 1st house is the body, so don't do anything that could be injurious to yourself, okay? If you're getting, Mars has to do with like tattoos. If you're getting a tattoo in the month of August, late July, just do your research. Make sure you're not gonna get an infection, you're gonna get the work that you like, you don't wanna cause injury to self. Drive with caution, don't be a speed demon. You know, if you're traveling, double, triple check everything. Wear your, obey the seat sign, what's it called, seatbelt sign in the airplane. Just little things like that, because it's just a very sensitive, it's a hypersensitive conjunction, and you know, your health is your wealth, and we want to be very mindful that we can maximize that. Now, it can kind of project you, okay? It can cause a boom in self-image, reputation, something like that. If it causes a sudden loss in those things, don't worry, they can always come back, okay? So don't fret over that. And yeah, I think about like health, concern yourself with health, concern yourself with your mother's health as well. Call your mom. You might feel like staying home, redecorating home, spending time. I mean, it's funny telling a Taurus son, you might enjoy some food during this time, but you might enjoy some really good food during this time. So I encourage you, you know, to spend time at home, be happy, find happiness in your circle. And if you know, one thing that could really work, speaking of self-image, is transitioning to working from home or taking more hours from to work from home. Maybe you were in office 3 days a week, now it's down to like 2 days a week, okay? So something like that. And then Gemini rising, so we've got the moon happening in your 3rd house, which I very much like, because Leo's a really creative sign, and I think it's nice that we're moving now into the 3rd that rules the hands. So the new moon in the 3rd house for Gemini risings could spur just a burst of creativity. If you've had like writer's block, you're not really sure how to flirt online, some such thing can really actually help you during this time. And if you're, let's say you're looking for work, you know, this is really helpful. It can help you pitch yourself, because the 2nd ruler goes into 3rd. 2nd is your money and your values and your voice, and then the 3rd is expression. You could say, hey, like if you're doing a presentation for work, if you're trying to get asked out on a date, if you're looking to propose to someone, you know, it could be, you could go well, because you could do a really good job. So that's actually quite lovely. You have some nice things really supporting you here, getting some good advice from your parents, if you're a parent, giving some good advice as well. So I very much like that for you. Put in a lot of effort, okay? Put in a lot of effort into whatever it is you want to achieve, because the 3rd house does work hard. So you could have some help at this time and some inspiration. Now this conjunction is also happening in your 12th house, so avoid bust-ups with friends. Try your best to get sleep. It could make you restless, all right? The 12th is sleep, rest, meditation, and we can just feel a little bit like on edge when there's too much happening there and kind of rob us of our peace. So try to just, you know, lavender oils, bubble baths, chamomile tea before bed. Be good to yourself, all right? But the aspect too, aspects health. So be mindful of that and be mindful of your finances in general. Some financial houses are being aspected, house of debt, and then the house of money as well. You know, second ruler in the third. So just, I don't know, maybe do some affirmations. That's good for self-expression. So good luck to you, Gemini Rising. I think it's a lovely time. I hope it's a lovely time for everyone. And then last but not least, we come to Cancer Ascendant. So this is happening, and my friend texted me today. She's like, what's going on? So she's a Cancer Rising. Most of the women in my life are Cancer Risings, so it's easy for me. I know this ascendant better than my own. But yeah, it's in the second house. Okay, new moon in the second house. Wonderful for wealth. First ruler in the second. So nice. Speaking of pitching yourself, you might have been promoted recently. You could, really good time to apply for jobs for Cancer Risings. Really, really good time to sell yourself, much like Gemini during this time. Going very well for you. And again, it can expand the wallet, have new ideas how to make money. You know, just anything to do with home. Do you want to add something to it? Do you want to go back, visit your home? If you moved away from home, you can plan a trip to go visit your parents, to go see your childhood home, set up home somewhere, set up your own roots. And then that choppy conjunction is happening in your 11th. So honestly, the Cancer Rising people that I know seem to be coming into, they're like making moves. They seem to be coming into like promotions and job ideas. Okay, if you're especially restless at your place of work, you could be at the end and you could just be thinking like, I can't do this much longer. But don't worry, because the 11th is networks, gains. You might schmooze, go to conferences, seminars. People might reach out to you on LinkedIn, okay? It's also the place of promotions, awards, recognition from our peers. So somebody could refer you, keep your name in the ether and kind of pull it and be like, hey, I know John, he's great at this. Hey, I know Betty, she's really good at that, whatever, right? So that can be very, very helpful and take you far. Again, it's the house of networks, so please don't beef with people you don't know very well. And you never know, it's a small world, you run into them again, you might. And, you know, friends, just be nice to our friends, because we never really know, do we? And if they're giving us a hard time, well, they might leave, they might just like get out of our lives. But in any case, for Cancer Risings, you know, Aries rules the 10th house and Mars rules Aries, and it's going into the 11th. So surely there could be career possibilities through other people. You yourself might refer somebody for something. You might accept a referral. So it could be a very helpful time, really just help you expand. And I love how, you know, 2 and 11 are Dana Yoga. They're called Dana houses. They're wealth-giving houses in Vedic astrology. Though I'm using a tropical system, this would still apply. You know, it's just an interesting time. It's almost like Cancer Risings are planting the seed for their future earnings. So it's very, very nice. And you know what I wish for you? I wish that you earn enough to put your parents at ease, because that's second house new moon. So thank you so much for being here and listening. I hope the next few weeks are filled with joy, health, happiness, and love for each and every one of you. I'm going to go work some more on other things I want to talk about, record those for you. And until next time, much love to you all. Bye-bye.